The WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, let's do it, Jarom, Tanner, and Nolly.
It's another edition of the WCB Podcast, a part of the Hockey Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings and Raycon. It is Jarom here. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Keeping up with what I said last week, we are going to go with another Memory Monday episode here. This one was a lot of fun. This one took place on June 19th of 2020. It was in the heat of the COVID lockdown. It was the first time that we had a guest video chat with us, and it was absolutely beauty, showing us all of his equipment and some of his favorite gear. And I am talking about none other than the hometown legend himself, Scott Darling. It was a lot of fun talking with him. This is one of those interviews that I really hope that we run back here very soon. A couple things that he has done since the last time we spoke with him. Doing the stand-up comedian now. He just played and hosted his last game. So we definitely would love to have him back on the show to kind of see, where he's at now. But like I said, Memory Monday, Scott Darling, for the new fans, listeners who may have missed these interviews, I hope you are enjoying these replays of them. And we will see you on the next one. So today we are joined by a hometown hero. He is a 2015 Stanley Cup champion. Please welcome to the show, goaltender Scott Darling. Scott, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Oh, thanks for coming on. How are you holding up with quarantine and all that?
Quarantine, it's okay. I joke I was born to quarantine. I just love TV and movies. I love hanging out with my dog. So, and my fiance she's a nurse who tests COVID patients. So I joke we're double quarantine because we don't go around anybody. But yeah, she finally stopped because we're about to get married, even though we had to cancel our wedding. So we had to call an audible, and we're renting an RV, and we're eloping in Montana. So now we're a little bit safer, be around our friends, because she stopped doing that because of the wedding that's coming up.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, I know it can be pretty lonely if you have to remain in quarantine, let alone double quarantine. It's,
double quarantine.
I mean, like you said, you love movies, you love hanging out. Maybe you're secretly, this is probably the best thing that can happen to me right now.
I'm good, man. I got my TVs and my dog, and I'm good.
Oh, you got a big dog too, don't you?
Yeah, I have a Great Dane. He's Moose is 170 pounds.
Jesus.
And then we just did what everyone else in quarantine did. We just bought another dog.
Okay.
Another Great Dane. His name is Gary. He's about 9 pounds right now. Is
he just born Great Dane?
Yeah, we get him in 4 weeks.
Oh wow! I'm sure he's probably the size of a small dog already, rather than a puppy.
Yeah, when we got Moose, he was 10 weeks. He was 16 pounds, and they grow so fast. It's incredible. So Gary is 5 weeks right now, and we can get him when he's 8 weeks, and he's gonna be massive. I think he'll be 210, 215 pounds. So
God,
I'm excited. I love my dog, and I'm excited to have another one.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Do you feel like you just have to get a Great Dane because you're such a large guy too? You just need a big dog alongside you.
Just like me, they're so big, dorky and lazy. We get along great. Mildly clumsy, and we get along great. All bark, no bite. So I love Moose, and like I said, Gary is new little brother. I'm pumped to get him.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, let's move on to little hockey talk here. So first question, we've been having a lot of goalies on recently. So I'm a forward, Tanner's a goalie himself. Yeah. So I always like to get into the mindset of the goalies. What drove you to play goalie? Because it takes this very special person to volunteer to sit in front of that net. Was there always the plan to be a goalie, or was it just kind of a lucky draw?
Well, yeah, you look back at it, terrible decision to be a goalie.
But yours worked out pretty well, though, so
yeah,
got to win Stanley Cup.
I have complaints, but I joke that when I stop playing, I'm never going to play goalie again. I'm going to be a forward, just cherry picking, shooting high. But when I was a kid, my dad was a goalie. So I used to watch him play men's league. And so I watched him a lot. And then I got really drawn to the gear. And then I sucked at forward. I played forward until I was 5. And then they're like, nah, you can go in the net. And I was like, okay. And I kind of found my spot in the net. And I haven't left it ever since.
So you were forced to play goalie, basically.
Yeah, we were on one of those teams where like you traded who played goalie, and then they put you in net, and they're like, you can just stay there. And
you just had the team equipment, and you're like, well, this is mine now, apparently, huh?
Yeah, I can serve the team better at age 5, just sitting here like picking boogers.
And you played in like the Chicagoland area, right? You played in the minor hockey here. I'm curious.
2nd grade, yeah.
I'm curious if I ever played against you, because I'm also an '89 and I grew up playing on like the Chicago Blues. And like when I first started, it was on like the Eagles, and like then they folded and became the Chicago Blues. And then it was just like, I'm curious because like it said you played for the Huskies and you played for the Vikings.
So I played for the Vikings in 2nd grade, but I played like my age group was like Mike AA or whatever it was. And the Huskies, I played up a year. And then TI and CYA, I played the 88 birth year, so I was probably like just like a year in front of you the whole time.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It would have been so cool, though. I was kind of pumping myself up. I was like, maybe I did play against him. That would have been amazing.
Probably woke up on me one time.
That'd be so cool.
So did you kind of get looked at from like your time playing in Illinois? Because I mean, growing up, like the time like we all grew up playing Illinois hockey, it really wasn't where it's at now. It was kind of like almost like a joke around the country kind of thing. Like, was it here that you got recognized, or was it when you moved on somewhere else?
No, I left early, man. I went to boarding school in 8th grade up in Saskatchewan. And then I came back for a year, played CYA my freshman year of high school. And then I got like drafted in the juniors. So I played junior B in the Quad Cities my sophomore year, played in the NAHL Mason City my junior year, started my senior year, and then Eastern Junior League in Albany, New York my senior year, and that's where I got noticed when I was in New York. And that's where I got my scholarship, and that's the league I got drafted out of.
Did you think that like when you got like noticed for the scholarship, were you like, well, this is just another step, like you can feel the wheels turning, like you were going to make it to the show?
No.
All right, super honest.
I hadn't talked to like a single college team because I always wanted to play in the Midwest. I know Illinois doesn't have a team, but I'm a Badgers fan, a Michigan fan, North Dakota. I wanted to play somewhere around here, but I got noticed when I was out east, and so it all happened super fast. Like RPI talked to me, then Maine talked to me, then every school on the East Coast talked to me. Because in that league, you do like showcases every weekend. So like every team plays at one rink and all the scouts go to see them all play. So it's like, easier for the scouts. And at that time, Maine was the top team in the country with the history of goaltenders that they had. Ben Bishop was playing there, Jimmy Howard, all those guys. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me, and I committed there right away. And then at the end of that season is when I got drafted by Arizona.
When what did you have that moment, that aha moment, like you're like, okay, I can really make a career out of this, I can really take myself to that level? Or
not until I was like 24.
I was 24.
Were you more like in the sense of just like how I would feel is just like, what the fuck is going on? Like this is pretty cool though. Like
you dream about it, but like my realistic, like tangible goal my whole life was D1 hockey. Like I wanted to play D1, and everybody wants to, and that was enough for me to strive for. And then, you get out, I only played 2 years at Maine. I didn't get signed by Phoenix. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't have a college degree, so I'm just going to keep trying to play hockey and like earn a living. And I did that, and like I just chipped away at it, and like it didn't become like a real thought of mine until I had a full season in the AHL with Milwaukee in 13-14. Then I was like, because I started watching my teammates go up, and like watch guys come back and like who just played in the NHL. I'm like, oh, we're all on the same ice. Like this is possible. I was always worried about going back down.
Yeah.
And then I had a good season, and that's when it like came real for me. Like I was like, this could happen, and that's when I signed with the Hawks after that season.
So yeah, you had that unreal season with Milwaukee. Like you were talking about 13-6-2 with like a 933 save percentage. So going into
Look, you have the stats pulled up in front of you or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Going into that offseason, was there like rumblings that you had a shot at an NHL contract, or was it kind of like a surprise when the Hawks gave you that call?
I mean, it was a surprise that the Hawks did. I had offers from about 4 other teams. And I was like in the Nashville system playing for Milwaukee, so I was hoping Nashville would sign me, and they didn't offer me. And then out of the blue, my agent calls me. He's like, "Yeah, the Hawks want to offer you 2-way," and I was like, "Fuck everyone else. Sign it right now. Forge my name so that we get this done." But yeah, I was so excited because, as you guys know, I'm from here. I love the Hawks. Still love the Hawks. Like everything else just went out the window.
It was like you liked Eddie Belfour when you were growing up, right?
Yeah.
Did he influence you at all when you were growing up playing hockey? And like, was that like part of like, oh, cool, I get to play goalie, or was it just like, yeah, he's awesome and I like playing goalie? Like,
yeah, I mean, cool. my dad was a big goalie like fanatic too, and like he loved Esposito, and like we watched all the Hawks games, so Belfour was my guy, and I love watching all of Kolzig play too. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like style wise because like it's different eras, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And Eddie's a little bit feistier than I am. So I didn't really like emulate him in that way, but I loved his competitiveness and just like his like fierce approach to the game. And as a Hawks fan, he was the guy when I was growing up. So I just like worshiped him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things I really enjoyed was just the fact that like he made it his net. He's like, I'm not giving this up to anybody. It's like, you have to take this from me. Like, this is mine. And, like, it kind of seemed like that's how you were once you got the shot to play. Once, like, Crawford went down during that season and Ronta was the backup, and then you guys split time, and you just came out of nowhere just, like, fucking so, like, just everybody had to, like, respect what you could do.
Yeah, I was kind of – I was like that, I'd say, until I was full-time Corey's backup. Like, through the minors – you know, like I'm still great friends with a lot of the goalies that I play with, but I didn't give 2 shits if I took their job or like ruined their careers or whatever. However it played out, like I was climbing, you know. But when I got there to be Corey's backup, it's like you're at the peak, so you just want to. There's nowhere left to like climb to, so you just want to be the best you can be for the team. And if my role is to be the backup, I'm going to support Corey like so much. Because it's not like when you're in the A, you have to leapfrog the guy to get to the next level. It's not like that once you're at the top level. But I can, maybe there was a little Ed Belfour chip on my shoulder, like through the minors. Because like I said, I'm great friends with like pretty much every goalie I played with along the way. Played with for a lot of teams, but going up, like I didn't give a shit. I was like, sorry, you know. Sorry for taking the job.
Same feeling. It was just like, I'm going to start every game. I never want to come out of the net. I want to make sure that we're winning and it's because of me. Like that's the feeling you want to have, and it's great.
We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, actually, and what you said, he didn't say it the same way you said it, but just that mindset that he had going into there, it's so crazy just hearing like some of the best goalies have that just fuck you, I'm doing this is my spot. And then you had that extra drive be playing for your childhood team too. That had to be like a nice little bonus on that too.
I'd say more than a nice little bonus. I mean, it's like Disney shit, you know, like having that be the team I signed with. First year we win the whole thing. I actually like squeak in a couple games in the beginning, and like, you know, you couldn't write a script better in my opinion. And like, that's why I'm just like, still to this day, I can die a happy man. I got to play for my favorite team. We won a cup. Best years of my life. And I'm just pumped I got to be a part of it. They're airing all the games right now on TV. And I've never seen them.
5-year anniversary. There you go. Wait, is it?
I watched the first 3 games. I've never seen them. Like the actual broadcast. Like
really?
I've seen like my video, like the clips of the saves and stuff, but I've never watched the game like as a spectator would. So it's been pretty crazy to watch. It's been fun to kind of like reminisce about it.
Is that what you're kind of spending your time doing now that you have like all the time in the world, just kind of going back and reminiscing on the championship days right now?
Yeah. I turn off whatever show I'm binging for 2 hours every night to reminisce about the glory days.
So since you brought up the replay, do you guys have like a group chat or something that you guys like throw stuff back and forth, like maybe chirping, back and forth about it at all?
We don't have a group chat, but like I'm still tight with a bunch of the guys, and like the guys who are still playing for the team probably aren't watching this.
Yeah.
But, some of us, we like throw digs at each other, and most of them don't live in Chicago, so they can't even see it. So I'll like send them a picture or something and be like, Rundy, you fucked up on that one, or like remember when you used to be bad at hockey, like just like but yeah, no one else can see it because it's only on the Chicago broadcast.
Yeah, it's on the Comcast. Isn't today's the 5th anniversary of the parade, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
A decent day. Yeah, it was super cool, and for me it's a little extra cool because again, Hawks fan. My family got to come on the bus with us and like have the experience, and my entire family was at the parade as a fan. I wasn't there, but they were there like in the crowd for the other two, and so the third one we all got to like get on the bus and like, do the thing, and so it's a pretty special memory for my entire family.
Can't imagine. like just watching the parade 2 years and then just being like, hey, now we're in it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So going back to you signed with the Hawks when you came in, was there a certain like guy that you kind of like drew yourself to kind of like show you the ropes about being in the NHL, or was it kind of like, or was there any guy that kind of surprised you a little bit about how they were from what you kind of hear about stories?
I would say Corey surprised me a lot. Because he comes off to the fan as like very dry and quiet, like when he does his interviews, but he's like the nicest guy in the world and like very caring. Like even my first training camp, like he knew I was scared shitless. Just like, everyone did. I tried to play it cool, but so he like took me under his wing, and like even though I wasn't supposed to be his backup, like I knew I was going to Rockford. And then Michael Late was there too, and he kind of took me under his wing when we were in Rockford. Because he'd been playing pro for 12, 13 years at that point. But yeah, once I got up with Crow, like no better mentor. Like he was awesome. Like, and he has a great like mental aspect to the game. Because like me, I'm kind of high strung about playing, and like I get stressed out, and like it can affect how you play, how you sleep, how you prepare. And he's like the opposite, and that's why he's so good. So that kind of rubbed off on me. And we had just a great working relationship the whole time I was there.
How did that really affect you though, that playoff series when you you took the crease from him, and then you go on and do just great. You made records, longest like relief appearance without a goal, most saves without a goal, relief appearance, and
watch the one that airs tonight and let me know how you feel about it. Get about 15 minutes. No, it was weird for me to like step in front of like one of my heroes,
Yeah.
And so if anything, I was more insecure that he was going to like be mad at me, and like but he handled it great, and when he took the net back, he killed it, and obviously we all know the outcome. So for me, I was just happy that I contributed. Like it's still my like claim to fame in Chicago. It's like when people see me, they're like, "Oh, Nashville." Like, I know. I'm like, it's 5 years later. It's been happening for 5 years. Like, yeah. So
I think that toe save you had in Game 1 was probably one of the most iconic saves of that entire year. Let alone like I think the decade maybe for like the Hawks playoffs, which is just insane. I remember watching that and just being like, "What the fuck? How'd that happen?" Like.
I remember the next year when we were playing the Preds, and I'm friends with Carter Hutton, and he was doing like his goalie like warm up before they had their practice, and he saw me standing on the bench, and he just like mimicked it, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Their goalie remembers that save."
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean that's for me. That's like, other than like winning and being part of that team like that, like one save, it's like my peak of my career. So
of your goaltending.
Yeah.
Was there anybody on that national team that was on the Milwaukee Admirals with you the year previous that you were like
Philip? No? Him and I lived in a hotel room together the entire season the year before.
Oh shit!
Oh, yeah.
So we're great friends, still are friends. He scored a hat trick on me in Game 5, and he'll never let me forget it. So many guys like Cal Yarncroc, Colton Sissons. There was like 6 or 7 guys on that team that I played with the year before. So it's kind of fun, like competitive in that way.
Yeah,
like,
get to talk a little shit to people you know, like pretty well.
Yeah, and then kind of, you know, like peacock a little bit when you're going through the handshake. But,
Did you show him your ring when you were all done?
No.
Just a little group chat, like just photo, send it right over to the Nashville guys. That's fantastic though. Oh. So what was it? I mean, clearly it's all crazy, but like, what's it like being called up and then Coach Q giving you the green light to go in net, and you're like, oh shit, all right, here we go.
Like for that game?
Oh no, I'm just talking about during the season, before even the playoffs happened.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wish I was wearing a diaper when he told me that. Because like he had just played a game and we were getting on the plane for a back-to-back. So you have to walk by the coaches to go back to like where we sit. And he just, you know, in classic Q voice, he's like, "You're going." Like, "You're going." I was like, I just kept walking, and everyone saw me. Deer in the headlights, and I just like went back to my seat and just like sweat the rest of the flight. And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm actually gonna play tomorrow." Because we were flying back. I forget where we played the night before, but we were flying back to play that first game against Ottawa. And yeah, I was like, I couldn't sleep. I was a wreck the whole time. And I like told the important people in my life that I was going to play tomorrow. Then I just turned my phone off.
Just too many texts to be fluttering in.
Well, once they announced it, it's like everyone I've ever known from Chicago and like all my friends are going to like be texting me. So I told everyone important that I was like, I'll see you after the game. Turn the phone off.
Did you get to bring any family out to Ottawa for that game?
It was at home.
It was at home. Okay, that's why. All right.
Yeah.
So some family get to come out and see the game for you.
Yeah, they all came.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it was a night I'll never forget.
What's up, guys? As you know, the show is brought to you by DraftKings, and new customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. Bet just $5 to score $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelpline.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Kansas, call 1-800-247-00. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort, on West Virginia, gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. All games regulated by West Virginia Lottery. Please play responsibly in partnership with Hollywood Casino at Charlestown's Race in Connecticut. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after insurance. 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in require max bet $50. 10 plus leg required for 100% boost. Eligibility, wagering deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball terms. Even if you're not going on vacation, summer is all about a vacation state of mind. Whether I want to listen to Luke Combs on repeat or just need to retreat inside my own head for a bit, I love creating my own summer soundtrack by popping in my Raycon wireless earbuds. There's so much going on all summer. Sometimes you need some upbeat music to pump you up before you see people or to stay calm with some guided meditation. I love my Raycon headphones for, listening to my country playlist up on the lake or, any of the great podcasts from the Hockey Podcast Network. Just get to hear all my hockey news. Let me tell you right now, Raycons are the best way to listen. Use earbud tap functions to toggle between 3 customizable sound profiles, noise isolation, and awareness mode. Raycons have a 32-hour battery life, including 8 hours of playtime, so you can listen to what you want when you want for a really long time. They come with custom gel tips for the most comfortable in-ear fit. They start at half the price of other premium audio brands, but they sound just as good. And Raycon comes with a 30-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose. Create your own soundtrack with Raycon. Right now, WCB podcast listeners can get 15% off Raycon order at buyraycon.com/THPN. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to save 15% off on Raycons. Buyraycons.com/THPN.
So, I mean, with that game too, I mean, you've had a lot of like first and accomplishments, with playing that.
I have some weird records.
Yeah. So playing that, by playing in that game, you're the first SPHL player to ever play in the NHL.
Sure.
So, do you take any pride in that? I mean, that's got to feel good.
Yeah. I mean, now I'm the poster boy for the SPHL, so that's good. I don't see any checks for that, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. The story's cool, the way it all worked out, even to this day, I wouldn't change a thing. I loved my journey, playing in the minors, playing all these different places. I've met so many people, so many great teammates, so many people I'm friends with to this day that I might have played 30 games with in Wheeling or played 10 games with for this team, whatever it is. If it didn't work out the way it did, I might not be saying that, but it did. So I'm I wouldn't change a thing. But yeah, and then first goalie to win their home debut since Belfour. Cool.
Okay. Good company.
Only time 2 Chicagoland goaltenders have squared off with the UC, me and Craig Anderson, my first game.
Okay. That's a fun one.
Weird little stuff like that.
First Chicago-born player to win the Stanley Cup as a member of the Blackhawks. That right there would probably be would go on my tombstone.
Yeah. Like I said, that stuff, I'm so grateful for it. And I still can't believe all of it happened. You know what I mean? And so, very grateful and very happy for the memories that I, created playing here. And, it's kind of the lifelong things that will never be taken away from you.
Yeah, of course.
So jealous.
Yeah.
Just so jealous.
You legitimately live. Yeah.
just every Chicago kid's dream is to grow up and play for the Blackhawks.
Cup stuff.
Oh, you got to keep all your stuff? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, but I didn't know you'd have it right there for you. That stuff is so nice.
The bike's in the way, but I kept everything, man. I hoarded everything.
So you show the pads. Oh, we have a good friend, good buddy of ours, is a big gear guy. So he's he loves your style of pads and all that. Do you have a goalie that was an inspiration, or you just kind of go on your own and just draw stuff up yourself?
Yeah, I kind of go on my own. I don't know why everyone wears white gear to make it look bigger or whatever, but I'm big enough. So I take pride in creating different pads, and I like dark colors and stuff like that. And I've always taken pride in making the mask. I have every mask I ever had here in my basement. And then the equipment company that I work with, Brian's the guy who does the gear, is ultra creative. So we never got a hard time making something unique.
Just spitting ideas off of each other.
Yeah. And I mean, as a gear whore I am, that was one of the best parts about the NHL. When I was with the Blackhawks, no limits. I could get new pads every month if I wanted to. You get new helmets every month, whatever. Did the Blackhawks do it right, man? First class everything. So yeah, I had to tone it back because I was I would get new pads every week.
Yeah, get some home, get some away pads. Maybe if there's a third ever, just get some thirds. Just switching it up,
I literally had to sell because, like I said, I kept all my gear, all my helmets for probably the last 8 years, maybe. I literally had to get rid of it recently because I just didn't have enough room for it in my house.
I was gonna say it probably fills up your man cave there.
Yes, I kept a lot of pads and they lined the walls on the bottom, but I gave them all to my buddy. I gave him my buddy Carp. I gave him 5 sets of pads and 50 pairs of gloves, and I was take these and you can sell them, whatever, to get them out of my house. So, I don't have room for this stuff anymore.
I saw him post on the goalie union page on Facebook, and I'm he's got the good hookup there.
Not too shabby.
Did you
have game worn stuff?
You got a favorite set of pads? I know personally my favorite was the sock design. Like just
Yeah.
so simple, but it like
Yeah,
it
those
just
are
looks
nice.
so
Yeah.
good.
With the Hawks, I like the red and white sock graphic. I mean, my favorite all time is my USA one.
Yeah, those are.
Like I said, I don't know if you see. I got my new hobby in the way of this piano. That's all my USA stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
You see the Whalers pads there.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, that's probably my favorite set of all time is the USA stuff, and obviously the championship stuff was like.
Yeah, the United States flag does itself or lends itself very well to making some nice pads.
Yeah.
Stars and stripes, oof, so nice.
Yeah. So speaking of Team USA, how was it playing for that World Championship in 2018?
That was so much fun. I'm a huge patriot. Like my dad was in the Army. Like grew up always wanting to play for Team USA. As you can see, I'm still cutting the cords.
Yeah.
But it was such a good group, and you get to meet all these guys from other teams coming together, and where we were was kind of shitty. The town we were in, but we had so much fun as a group, and there's Kaner was the captain, and that was awesome. A couple Hawks guys there. But then you get to meet other guys. You can meet Goodrow, Larkin, all these guys, and you're there for so long. I'm great friends with Blake Coleman. I was at his wedding last summer, all this stuff.
Nice.
But it was just the experience, and representing your country was really cool for me. And then I'm a big travel junkie too, so it was fun to go to Denmark, and then you're allowed to bring your fiance or wife over. So she came over, and we stuck around, did a Euro tour after. So overall, I mean, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
You did something too with in Australia a couple years before,
Austria.
right? No.
No, I did Australia too.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was
okay.
a Wayne Gretzky, something with Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, it was a charity.
Oh, I kind of remember that now. Yeah.
And that was freaking sweet, man. It was a free trip to go down to Australia for 2 weeks, and I played 3 games. They make a Canadian and U.S. team, and then 3 games in 2 weeks, and the rest is just a vacation.
That's
Just hanging out in Australia.
Yeah, and then I stuck around and went to New Zealand for 2 weeks, and that was super cool too. I was gonna do it again this year. I was supposed to be in New Zealand right now.
Oh shit!
But I got Rona. But
That's the worst.
But I told the guy, I was I would do that any year because it was so much fun, and the guys who play in the NHL, they roll out the red carpet, nice hotel rooms, first class seats, and it was a great time. I had a blast doing that. I would do that anytime.
It's just a grow the game type of thing, right? Just kind of display.
Okay, so it's through the NHL. Everything's covered from them.
No, it's just this guy. I don't know who his name's Kerry Goulet. He sets it all up, and it's just sponsored by Air Canada and a bunch of companies.
Okay.
They raise money for concussion research. And so,
nice.
These games, we're talking 20,000 fans, at these games.
Holy shit.
So, they're raising money doing it. And, we don't get paid, but it all gets paid for. So it's kind of a sick trade-off if you like to travel, just go down and see somewhere cool. Like I said, we were supposed to do 4 games just in New Zealand this year. I would have been there right now, but obviously the state of the world.
Yeah.
Traveling.
Man, speaking of let's just talk about it. Speaking of the state of the world, how are you? How was everything when it stopped for you? It just seemed so surreal, right?
Yeah. And I always tell people I'm extra over it because where I was playing this year in Austria, we were 20 minutes from northern Italy, which is where it popped off in January. So I've been dealing with shit forever.
Oh yeah, basically all of 2020 then. Yeah.
Well, legit, because I got home on March 4th, and then that's right when everyone started panicking here. And so I'm I've been dealing with this shit for 2 years. And now, 6 months into the Rona, and I'm just and plus, like I said, my fiance's a COVID nurse, and it's fuck, go away, It's been half a year.
Just need to redo it.
What was your your experience in Austria before that? How was it good times or?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was Austria is like a hidden gem, man. It's like one of those beautiful countries that people don't really think of when they think about traveling. Like I lived like in the valley of the Austrian Alps. Like it was awesome. I mean, my team was good, but we had like major injury issues with our imports. So like my first 20 games, like 8 of our imports were hurt, and we just got shit kicked every night. So that wasn't fun. So the hockey part wasn't ideal, but the guys were great. Made a lot of friends, but just like have an off day, I'm going to go down to Italy for lunch, or have an off day, I'm going to drive up to Germany for lunch. Like we were in a pretty cool location where you could take day trips to 3 different countries.
That's awesome.
And then in the league, you're playing the Czech Republic, you're playing in Hungary. So you get to see all this stuff. And like I said, I'm a travel nerd. So it was cool.
It's pretty awesome. Did you end up like renting a place, or did they have a place set up for you?
No, they had an apartment for me. They give you a car.
Oh, nice.
I learned how to drive stick, which as a 30-year-old, I maybe should have known how to do that.
I don't know how to do it. I'm 30 as well, so.
So I learned how to drive stick. Ate a lot of schnitzel. It was fun. It was super unique. Like, but it is funny. Like, the hockey part too. Like, you're traveling day up to a game. So like, you're leaving at 9 a.m. You're riding the bus for 7 hours. You're getting off and playing a game. Like, that was new.
Yeah.
So in the U.S., you always show up the night before. And then you get on the bus after the game, drive 7 hours back. You're home at 5 a.m. It's like, and they're a little more diehard. Like, we didn't really have like that many days off. Like in the U.S., there are rules. You have to have X amount of days off a month, stuff like that. But overall, it was great. I'm not planning on going back, but I'm very happy I went.
Nice. Do you have any plans for what you're gonna do? Are you gonna maybe try and do something else in Europe? Or are you gonna try and stay here? Maybe do something.
Ideally, I want to stay here because I'm getting married. I'm getting another dog, and like I said, being home has been great. I love Chicago. We bought our place a year and a half ago, and like finally finished like renovations and stuff like that. And it's just nice to be home. So ideally, I'm going to stay here, but because of the state of the world, they're worried about other stuff right now. They're not worried about signing a goalie.
Yeah.
And so I have a few offers in Europe right now that I'm saying no to. And then if nothing comes up good here, I'll probably do the same thing and go overseas in like November, like I did last year.
Just kind of hold out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's good.
Speaking of like how things are going here, what is your opinion of this whole 24 team absolute mayhem that potentially is going to happen?
Like, have they even finalized the voting for the players and stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and they haven't named the cities, right?
No, they haven't.
I've heard it's Vegas and Edmonton.
Those are like, I think, the front runners right now. I think they're waiting to see if Canada's going to allow it, because Canada, I don't even think has gone to their phase 2 yet.
Yeah, their borders are.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be iffy there, but I think Vegas is a for sure if it happens.
If one country would let it slide, though, it would be Canada let the hockey boys in.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, I hope they can do it. It's like, I miss watching, and the format's crazy, but it's crazy times. They're doing the best they can to like figure out a way to finish the season. You don't want like an empty square on the Stanley Cup, so I'm happy the Hawks squeaked in.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I hope they can figure it out. From what I know, that people are getting too excited because the players haven't even agreed to do it yet. So, I told my agent if they need any scab players, like, give me a call.
Hey, I'll suit up. I don't care. I'll just go open the door, like pass out some water bottles. It's fine. Like,
that's what I did.
All about it.
Years. It's the best job ever.
Oh, I love it, man. Who did you have I mean, I'm assuming you were following the NHL while you were over in Austria, yeah?
A little bit.
A little bit. Did you have any like team that was probably going to be like you think is going to the favorite to win it all?
I mean, Tampa. They're always the favorite, though. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think the Corona might have helped the Hawks.
Yeah, I got some guys that aren't hurt anymore.
Pull through here, like, I don't know. I was talking to my buddy about it the other day. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if they went on a run and just, took it off.
you know firsthand, playoff Kane, Taves, Crawford, those are guys you don't take
Jeez.
lightly. Like, it's a
The last
completely
season who won the Stanley Cup.
yeah. Like,
So
Kane's walking in a fifth third with who looks like the playoff mullet again. Like, I mean, the rest of the league's got to be scared a little bit.
I know. I never sleep on the Hawks.
I love the fact that they switched it from a best of 3 to a best of 5 just because like Pittsburgh was afraid of Carey Price and Edmonton's a little bit scared of playoff Kane, and you're just like, feels good.
Well, you need to go 5, man. It's like a goalie gets hot for just 2 games. It's like it's over. Crow throws 2 shutouts. It's over. It doesn't matter how the team plays. Like 5 games is a little bit harder, but best of 3, I don't know. One player could like win that series.
Absolutely. It's going to be an exciting time to watch, and I hope it happens sooner than later, or just happens at all, really.
Yeah, me too. I'm a sports.
Yeah.
I need this to work, and if the NFL doesn't come back, I'm gonna die.
That's
yeah, man. Like
weirdest time of day is like streaming the Bears games, like, freaking out because there's like an 8-hour time change.
Oh, geez. Yeah, what time do you like? Is it 8 hours earlier or later?
Later.
It's later. Oh, so like a noon game. Is it like 8 p.m. for you?
Noon or 2 or something. But I would literally watch it at 3 in the morning if they played like a 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock game.
Oh God.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You don't just got like a DVR. Just DVR, man. Just watch it the next day.
DVR. Come on. They might have it, but not in my apartment.
Okay. I was like, hey, you know what? I just caught this great business idea. Bring DVR to Austria, and then boom.
I'm sure they have it. I didn't. And I didn't speak good enough German to know how to get it. So.
You got to play under Coach Q. I love asking all the Hawks that come on, any good Q stories or what was it like playing under him, because he seems like he's a big players guy.
Yeah, Q's the man. Like, even post Hawks, like we still talk. And he was great to me, and like I don't know what it was, but he liked me from day one. He liked me from training camp day one. I think I made my mark the first day with my fitness testing. Like goalies usually don't test high, but I was like in the top of the entire camp, and so I kind of like stuck out. And then so I think you started to watch me more than you would watch like your 4th string goalie or 5th string goalie. And yeah, I mean, from then on, he was like my biggest advocate, and he's a big reason why I got my opportunities, and then I did my job and made the most of them. And he was great to me the whole time I was there, and even put me in and sticking with me in the first round. A lot of coaches wouldn't do that, but he trusted me. And then after we win, 10 minutes after we win, he comes up to me and tells me like, "Don't forget, this is like you helped us do this," and just stuff like that you'll never forget. And then just like the shitty, like the funny stuff, like calls you into the office. He's like chewing on a cigar, and he's like, end of the year meetings. He's like, Darryl, had no problems with you this season. Okay, see you next year.
Cool. I have no problems with you either, Coach. Thanks.
Better than the opposite. So, but yeah, I mean, even just little stuff like last year, I needed help kind of deciding where I was going to play, and I'm texting with him, and he's helping me, communicate with people who are overseas and stuff like that. So he's just a great guy. He's always great to me, and we had a great relationship.
Yeah, I wish his story ended a little bit better out here. I wish he had kind of feel like he didn't get really – he was the kind of guy that I thought earned the right to go off his way, and I won't get too much into that. We'll just say that.
It's touchy.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, but I would get to see it happen. But I have heard the guys love the new coach, so
he seems
good.
great. Man. I know personally, I feel for him. I feel like he just got thrown into a little wrong situation a little too early, maybe. But I think he's going to be a great coach, whether it's with Chicago or wherever he lands. But
it's just how do you follow Coach Q?
Yeah,
I mean, those are signs that needs to fill. It's like, how do you fill that shoe?
It's like what he's considered probably the second best coach of all time behind Scotty Bowman, and it's just like, hey, Carlton, you're up, bud.
You're younger than some of your players. Go get them.
Oh man.
Oh man. Well, we really appreciate you coming on. We don't want to take too much of your time. One last question that we ask all our guests that come on. We're gonna modify a little bit for you because I think we might know it.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, your favorite hockey memory. We're taking away 2015. So
entire year?
Yeah, the entire. Well, no, we'll take away winning the cup. We'll take that away.
Well, then it's easy. My first game. But that's in 2014, so loophole.
There you go. That first game, yeah.
My first game and winning are easily my two. And I mean, I have little ones too. Like my first shutout was in Madison Square Garden. Like that was super cool. Yeah, I'd say those are like my top three. But yeah, the first game would be my number one, other than winning the cup.
Oh yeah.
I
got a random question actually. It just popped in my head because I was just thinking about it. When you were a kid and you first started playing goalie, because this is kind of the thing that I also thought about too. Was there ever a time where you made a save and you're like, holy shit, I fucking nailed it, and it's just like all clicked from there?
No.
No? It's just, yeah, never mind. It
wasn't that good, man. I wasn't that good until I hit my growth spurt and I got even worse. And I wouldn't say it's like one thing that clicked, but like one day when I was my senior year of high school, like one day my coordination came back. Because I grew up very, very tall, very fast. I grew like 9 inches in like less than a year.
Oh, wow.
And, I was like Bambi on the ice, man. I was so bad. And then I would say that one day, like my coordination came back and then my career just like took off. And I'd say that was kind of maybe comparable. It's not a save, but like when that happened.
Yeah. But it's like, it's the moment in time where you're like, it all kind of clicked back together and you're like, oh shit, yeah, let's fucking go. Like,
I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. We're big fans, so it means a lot to get a chance to talk to you a little bit. Maybe we get you on again with get Cody on here too. We'll go back.
Oh yeah, get Carp out here. Oh, I'm bored. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe we get some like solid details on what the playoffs are going to happen. We get a little prediction run going. Like, let's get it.
Bring me in, man.
That'd be fucking awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Scott. Stay safe with everything, and we'll look forward to seeing you back on the ice.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
I appreciate it, Scott.
Thanks for listening to the WCB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.